the head of IDEC, Advocate Johnson, that was here, and she told us that she received the referral from SAPS to investigate this Medicare 24 allegations. So you were aware of that, or you are aware of that, because you've indicated
I am
earlier.
aware of that now, yes.
So if the preliminary report, which you are familiar with, it was dated in January 2025, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
And the complainant was referred to IDEC in February 2025. And then the final report is dated April 2025. Are we together on the dates?
Yes, we
So
are.
can we conclude that the complaint to IDEC was based on the preliminary report?
It's highly likely, yes.
And is this common in your experience? Is this a common practice in your experience?
No, it's not normally the common practice. The National Commissioner, I think, with his office and internal audit, do the determination when to do the referrals, and they will respond based on information that's known to them. I'm not normally part of that referral process.
Okay, you said you had a meeting, or the minister called a meeting because he wanted to be briefed on the Medicare 24 tender. Who invited you to the meeting?
We normally get invited by the Office of the National Commissioner.
Normally, were you invited by the...
I was invited by the Office of the National
so you
Commissioner.
didn't have any engagements with the minister directly at all?
The minister was part of that meeting.
Well, in the meeting, but prior to that? But prior to the meeting, had you had any engagements whatsoever?
None
with the
whatsoever.
minister? Okay. Who was present from the minister's office?
The minister was there. I think his support staff was there.
Okay, was his chief of staff there in particular, Mr. Nkabinde? And I'm sure you know him because he was just here the other day.
No, not the chief of staff. I'm trying to remember.
You don't know him?
I know Mr. Nkabinde.
Oh, okay, so was he there?
Yes.
Let's move on. He was there. And what was his input in the meeting?
He did not have any input at all.
Okay. In your experience, again, is this a common practice for ministers or deputy ministers to call supply chain officials to meetings and ask them to explain tender processes and also to review a tender process? Because you've got quite a long
No,
history.
it is not. It is not a norm. In fact, since I've been to SAPS, it was the first time that a meeting was called. As I've indicated, the minister at the time said he's worried about the reputation this contract would have, and he needed an explanation
So he was
or a
worried,
briefing.
but he said he was worried based on a media report. That's it. He didn't say there was anything else. Just a
Yeah,
media report.
the media
and
report.
And he summoned the entire supply chain to come and explain and to also ask for it to be reviewed. How many meetings did you have with the minister?
One.
It was just one.
One.
So the second meeting, so in his testimony, he said that he had one meeting where he asked for an explanation.
Correct.
Then he asked for the process for you to go back and review.
Correct.
And then who went back? You didn't go back to
I didn't
him
go
after
back.
Who went
No.
back in your knowledge, or how did it work?
It probably would be internal audit and legal because they were doing the work.
Okay. And then did you get any feedback after the meeting?
No, I didn't.
And then you said you did the presentation at the meeting, but at the same time you weren't really involved in this process. So how did you familiarize yourself with it to make the presentation?
I did not make a presentation.
Okay.
I was there present in the meeting and the question was asked and I spoke to the process, not a presentation. I spoke to the process as I understood it at the time.
Okay, the process just generally for tenders or the process for this Medicare 24 tender in particular?
The process for Medicare tender specifically, what we have done, what reports were submitted, and that we have concluded the tender based on the bid evaluation committee report.
And then you convinced the minister that there was nothing untowards, because he told us that he was told initially that there was nothing untowards in the tender. That's why he sent you back to go and review this process and come back and give a report?
We have indicated to the minister that based on the report that we have received, we had not picked up anything. And in that meeting, a decision was made that we need to audit the report. We welcomed that,
So, Doug, you
request.
honestly didn't pick up anything, and this thing has blown up, and there's just so much that should have been picked up. So, did you properly prep to do this presentation? Because at your level, during your process of prepping to go and do the presentation or whatever it is you were doing to the minister or engage the minister on it, you yourself didn't pick up anything?
With all honesty, no. And in the
Don't
meeting,
think that's troubling, though. Wow.
we are concerned. I have indicated.
No, you though, because
No,
you're
me,
the one
I am
who's in
concerned.
charge there, that you went there and you were like in your suit and say, no, this thing is proper. Like there's nothing untowards. We did the right thing. So it's either you didn't do your job properly, and then that is a concern in of itself, or what happened, or you were misled. And then even if you were misled by your subordinates, it's a problem.
The BAC actually was misled because the report had indicated that all due diligence was done. And that's where I have a concern. And that's why I have indicated to my team that they need to go and redo the process and redo the standard operating procedures to make sure that we arrest and pick up these issues.
Yeah,
and they are defining that now.
I'm saying that's what you say now, but when you went to present, because you would have had to prep to go and explain that this process was proper, you didn't pick it up. And you should be